Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope everyone is well. Random time to have a stream here. I'm gonna get started with some crypto breakdown. I thought crypto just had a pretty strong bearish sell-off, and we're gonna take a look at the overall market. So I use this time to go over some pair. I was free at the nighttime here, but just wanted to go online here and chat with you guys. So hope everyone is good. Just got a question quickly if you guys can hear me well and if you can see my chart. If we're all good to go, let me know and we can get started. Yeah, hello guys. So give me a yes if you can hear me well, if the sound is good and the quality of the stream is okay. Just give me a yes and then we can get started with this one. So YouTube is all good? Oh, good to know, good to know. Okay, no echoing on YouTube, right? That's perfect. Okay, that's good to know. What about TradingView? Anyone on TradingView can tell me if the sound is okay, the quality is okay, and everything else is fine? Just give me a heads up, that would be nice. Good, 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 good. Yeah, so nice to see some of you guys. You guys know I don't usually do the stream at this time, but I just when I get home at night and I look at the market, I was like, oh well, like it had some crazy bearish sell-off, right? And Ethereum was one of the entry that we talk about, right? It was one of the entry that I got in before or when I updated the latest position I have, right? This week was really well with a lot of sales on yens, dollars, Swiss, and things like that. I think quite a bit of us catch all these move, right? So that's good for us. Good for us to potentially see the continuation of it. So but I thought I'd use this time to go over any stuff in the crypto market. If anybody have questions, you're welcome to ask me. Um, but I think overall we kind of anticipated this crypto kind of move, right? Now I talked about this earlier, probably a couple of weeks ago, um, just before when the market had this sell-off today, is that we are already break the all-time high, right? This is the important part of, from a technical perspective, we broke all-time high, but we break it correctively, right? We're moving up correctively. And you can see after price break the all-time high, it didn't really form any continuation to go higher. Instead, what we get here is a higher time frame head and shoulder sort of, or sorry, lower time frame head and shoulder within the higher time frame ascending structure and a double top, right? So we have multi-time frame analysis, basically structures within structures, patterns within patterns. You can see higher time frame here. We're basically creating the same kind of ascending structure just like the previous sell-off. Now we're just making it better by having a double top with all these extra confluence to look for the sell here. And we talked about this when the price was forming this and mentioned about wait for a consolidation, right? Consolidation here finished because of the nature of how the price has been. It's very possible that we're going to get a sell-off in the market, which is pretty much what we get today. Now, with this kind of momentum, you're going to expect some sort of correction, perhaps, or just further downside from the price in the next few hours, or maybe within the day. So, kind of watch out for what the price will do, whether or not we're going to actually hit this previous low. We're pretty much en route. We're already halfway down to this impulsive phase. We're just going to see what's going to happen when we hit these low. Are we going to kind of form maybe a bigger head and shoulder and then continue to have forming a right shoulder, similar size like this, or we're just going to have more downside to the previous low. Now you can see with this type of momentum, you're not likely to get reversals unless the lower time frame kind of just start pushing up. Because you can see it had this really strong push down. It had a little bit of climb up, and a lot of people are trying to buy here. But this to me is basically just a pullback or just a moment of correctional phases, correctional corrections before the continuation downside. Whether or not this is enough to continue or we end up forming a bigger structure, either way to basically correct this impulsive phase, we're likely to see further downside if that's what the price will do. Personally, I'm in Ethereum, right? This one is the one I update earlier on with everyone in my Telegram. This is the only sell that I'm in for crypto. Currently, I think it's running about 3 to 1 or so right now. So 3 to 1 right now, pretty decent profit, I think. So going to see how long we can hold this price for a little bit longer, whether or not we're going to see further downside from the price. Can we continue breaking this out of the structure here? You can see the price did push down. It would be nice to see consolidation here to continue to move all the way down to this previous low. Same thing, Ethereum, you basically have similar structure, similar pattern like the total cap here. It's basically similar structure, similar pattern here. So definitely expect further downside if the price is going to continue. Yeah, no, I'm still in Ethereum position, by the way. So I am still in this one. So running 3 to 1 right now, I think. So we'll see how long we can hold this, or if the move is going to continue to the downside more. So but we want to take a look at a few other pairs. There's a few other pairs that are also pretty much having the same bearish kind of price action here, like dot USD here, Polka dot. Same thing, right? We hit the all-time high here. This was the previous all-time high. Again, price pushes up to breaking the all-time high, but there is really no continuation to go higher. Instead, this is a reversal, right? So we have a bullish push up, reversal correction, and then bearish continuation. So we're basically forming to another head and shoulder pattern here, double top here, head and shoulder pattern, and then price basically pushed down from this point after we completed that right shoulder here, and now we're pretty much at this previous low. So same thing here, because we had this correction here, so you could either expect we're going to get consolidation here to continue downside, or we're just going to basically break this low and then continue down further to the next previous low. So already you can see some of these bearish moves are pretty much playing out. I think Bitcoin is also one of those. You can look at Bitcoin here. Same thing is you can see this clear kind of price action. We have a double top here. Price hits the double top, and basically there's no more bullish continuation. I thought this move pushing up at time could form correction here to go higher. Instead, not that it didn't happen. It just pushed down, formed a little bit of small bearish correction, and then we had the impulsive move breaking out of this kind of a rising wedge, so to speak. So already when you have a higher time frame double top, rising wedge, bearish reversal, and then bearish impulse down. So that's already showing you a lot of bearish reversal kind of price action from a multi-time frame point of view. And we after that we form into this consolidation and basically form a bearish correction here within this larger correction structure, and then we have this kind of a sell push down to the low. Again, we want to see what the price will do when it hits this low, right? Just similar structure across the crypto market. Whether or not we're going to form continuation, maybe the size of this, we don't know, because this move is still pretty impulsive. Just like this move was impulsive, we push up, we correct to go higher. Same thing could have happened here. Now that we can form into a larger head and shoulder, and still the double top, and still expecting further down if we get this continuation. That's going to be kind of a confirmation for the price to continue to the downside. That is Bitcoin. Now, a couple other ones I'm also looking at. Luna. Luna is also looking like it could potentially reverse down to the low. We'll take a look at this structure. Dot USD, yeah. Nadeem, right? You're the one who's selling this dot USD, right? We talk about. I remember you telling me about this. So but .us Luna here, basically we talk about this as a ascending structure reversal on the higher time frame. Again, bullish push up to the price, right? And that's pretty much across the board first. But again, no continuation, right? So this is a classic kind of bearish reversal price action where you have an initial move pushing up, right? This is an initial move pushing up, and then once it breaks out of the structure here, no continuation on the lower time frame. Instead, you can basically see ascending structure once we break the highs here. So this is a sign of bearish reversal, right? This is classic bearish reversal ascending structure that we're all used to. Just like the whole indices market right now, it's all bearish, and we kind of look at into that a few weeks ago during the market when it's at the highest. So same thing here on this type of price action, right? Ascending structure. Just because price had this false breakout doesn't mean like it's likely to continue. Instead, the bearish reversal down. If you get continuation, then perhaps further downside is very possible. So we watch out for this. But you see how the lower time frame pushed down quite aggressively. So naturally, you want to wait for a consolidation before you sell. Now you can see the market is basically all red, right? I don't see any green or anything, and mostly it's down at least 10% or so, and that's pretty normal for crypto market, right? As we all know, it basically now is just kind of waiting to see whether or not we're going to get continuation or not. When do I think it's a good time to answer back into the market, like buying back into the market? Personally, I probably wouldn't recommend at this moment just because how far the market has already crashed, right? You can see when this type of reversal happens, understand that when the move up, it move up correctively. When it moves down, it's gonna move down impulsively, right? That's basically what the higher time frame structure is telling you here. So I really don't recommend buying back to the market, especially how sharp the momentum has been. Even if you buy, it's all just going to be corrective price action here. It's not going to be right away immediate pullback. That's not usually how the market works. You can see this previous sell-off from the same structure that we're at right now. We're basically just at a bigger one of them. So you can see when the market sells off like this, which is basically what we're doing here, it takes the market this much long to at least correct and does this thing before a potential reversal. And even here to start consolidating here, it might even just lead to further downside rather than a bullish reversal. So I wouldn't recommend buying back right away. Probably you should wait and see what the price will develop, right? Understand that after the impulsive phase, naturally price corrects. Correction doesn't always have to continue, right? It can be a reversal, just exactly like this case. Bearish push down, going to a bullish reversal, and then price push up, right? Same thing can happen here, but we're not, of course, don't know yet, right? We have to wait and see what are some confirmation in the market. CHR, we can take a look at that. Yep. So of course, all the market basically had a sell-off today, right? So really, obviously, don't really see any bullish activity. If you want to take a look, I'm mainly going to talk about the bearish price action that the price has been. So you can see after this previous really sharp move to the upside, we break this all-time high, price push to the upside, and then once it gets into this kind of range, when you see this kind of consolidation, you know that consolidation is going to lead to another impulsive phase. You can see what previous bullish impulse are pretty strong after forming this kind of bearish correction, and then we push down, we correct here, and then continue downward. So definitely don't expect the price is going to recover right away. I don't see that. I'd rather likely to just consolidate more to push down, right? Just because how the market has been already, it's basically in a bearish trend. So understand this type of impulsive phase don't usually right away have bullish reversal. Instead, it's going to be more consolidation in the moving forward, in the moving forward time, so to speak. I don't have any ADA spot. So are you mean by coins? Yeah, I do have coins for Cardano, right? I bought Cardano here, so I'm just still holding it. But that's just coins, right? So I'm fine holding the coins as an investment. Not likely to sell it because I bought it at a better cheap price over here, right? So price being pushing up and dropping, it's quite normal, right? If I had to hold through the upside and hold through the downside, well, it's going to be the same thing here, right? So as long as it doesn't break through this previous low, I'm fine holding it through this way. But if it does break this previous low, then obviously the bull market or the potential bullish run is no longer valid, right? But you see how this previous move up was really impulsive, and basically I was looking forward to see whether or not we're going to get continuation, but that really never happened after this kind of strong push up, breaking the all-time high. It just never really forming to any bullish continuation that I really want to see. Just kind of continue trickle down. It looks like it's going to continue still. Looks like it's a bullish kind of phase, bullish kind of correction, but it just never really give you that bullish breakout and followed by consolidation to go higher. That never happened, right? Now it's kind of breaking below this low. If it form continuation, then we might even see further downside from the price, right? So yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. suggest any books to study price action. I didn't really read any book. What I do mostly is honestly watch YouTube videos and watch YouTube videos, look at TradingView posts. I mean, you have all the tools available that I have, right? Everything that I talk about in my price action videos and analysis and everything is on my YouTube playlist, right? You can learn everything or as much as you can. It's all here. I don't know if you have a chance to take a look or any of my workshop videos. They all have hours and hours long. You can learn for free all here, right? You just have to spend some time going through the videos. Honestly, I didn't read any books, but mostly watching videos, YouTube videos, watching TradingView online, right? So first, there's a lot of TradingView people. You're welcome to look at people's posts, right? You can learn from analysis and things like that, right? So crypto market looks bearish. Yeah, certainly, right? Kind of talk about this in the beginning. Even the total cap basically had this kind of a sell-off here. It basically depends on what's going to happen in the next, couple hours or a day or so. Are we going to get bearish continuation, or are we just going to have a reversal? Chances are we're not likely to have a bullish reversal just because how far the market has been pushing down. I think more likely we're going to get consolidation and then to push down lower. But it's obviously too hard to tell because this just happened within the last few hours. You can't really guess what's going to happen after, right? The bearish momentum is really sharp, right? So perhaps we're gonna get consolidation, maybe a consolidation like this, just like the previous bearish sell-off, and then potentially pushing down more, right? But at this point, it's obviously you can't just guess right away, but seeing the market drop like this in a few hours, we're going to pay attention really closely next week, right? So today we're just gonna focus on crypto, guys. Like this stream is just focused on crypto. For forex and stuff, we'll leave it next Monday, right? Monday, Wednesday is usually when I go over all the market and things like that, right? So we'll leave the forex all today. But as you guys know, I was in a few of the dollar positions, right? Few of the dollar position worked out. Few of the dollar position got break even. I'll do a full recap video on yet tomorrow or something. But I'm still in Aussie yen. I'm still in Kiwi yen, right? So these are the two live position I have running. So Aussie yen, Kiwi yen, I'm holding these two positions. So there's in profit or in break even. So I'll see how next week goes, right? But I'll definitely make a recap video on all my live trades anyways, as usual, right? So I'll just find some time, maybe tomorrow or next day to make a recap video. But my bias obviously is obviously looking for further downside, right? All these dollar and yen and Swiss pairs, we basically talk about all these continue to the downside already, right? So it's expected here basically. Same with all the indices as well. Indices basically move down impulsively as well. We all expect that many weeks ago. We talk about this. I talk about this many weeks, and just continue pushing down, right? We'll definitely go over that next Monday, but today I really just want to focus on crypto really because just the market has a really strong bearish off, right? And I think a lot of these can continue more if possible. So we'll see how these ones go, whether or not we're gonna get further downside or not. Right, really depends on what this lower time frame might do. This can create a little bit of flag and continue. That might be possible, or we might just see further downside. Right? Maybe this is just going to be more consolidation. We don't know what's going to happen. Right? So best to just kind of wait and see. So Ethereum, sure, Ethereum BTC. Um, so basically, what I don't really trade crypto. I usually look at crypto with dollar or dollar T, right? So, but in this case, this is kind of what I see. If I look at this from a higher time frame point of view, basically we're in a bullish impulse up, right? I think this is more going to be a consolidation to continue, but the only thing here is price has to break above this high. So breaking above the high is one thing, but on the lower time frame, you probably should want to wait for consolidation, which is what the price is doing now, which is good, right? You can see we already have many price actions within this larger structure here, and it's very clean for a potential upside because after the initial upside here, naturally we know price needs to correct, right? So we have a few consolidation in between and price is correctively moving within, but at the very latest, we have these bottom here, price push up, correct, push up again, and we have another consolidation. It's likely to push up further. And this is actually pretty clean for another upside, in my opinion, if this correction completes and then we just push up higher and higher, so to speak. CRO. So this is the crypto, right? I mean, crypto.com crypto coin. Um, Yeah, it's still looking pretty bearish to me, right? After a bullish push up, you can basically see this impulsive phase was not followed by continuation. Instead, it's a bearish reversal, bearish continuation, and then we're pushing down lower. Now, if this is going to continue more downside, then it's likely to form another consolidation and continue, right? Just like what we have seen, it's very clean that after initial push up impulsively, and then you have a bearish reversal. Remember, we talk about this type of price action is what I call a reversal impulse because the previous impulse was strong, but it was not even followed by any type of correction. Instead, it's just a followed by a straight up reversal. Reversal impulse followed by continuation, and then price push down. This is exactly in this type of price action here, right? So I expect further downside if it's going to consolidate here and then continue pushing down afterwards. That's what I see. Someone said now was not able to catch the crypto market. Most crypto was in bullish structure like BTT, XRP. Um, bullish structure on XRT. I mean, it depends on how you see. Maybe you see. I'm not sure how you see the structure. Maybe you saw it this way or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, that happens sometimes in the crypto, but maybe not as clean as in a couple other coins. But the ones that I was looking at looks pretty clean to me. The overall structure, right? Such as the total cap. Dot USD did exactly the same thing. Ethereum did exactly the same thing. And Bitcoin here did pretty much exactly the same thing, right? We all have that double top at the all-time high. We all form some sort of bearish reversal structure. We all have a bearish impulsive phase, and we'll have a bearish continuation. So most of the bigger cap, I'm not saying Ripple is not, but I'm saying the bigger coins out there are basically doing this kind of the same kind of move, right? So those one ultimately fuels what total cap or total market cap would do anyways. So seeing that sell off like here, but it's a similar price action across most of these major ones out there. Maybe that's also why it's pushing down. I didn't get in on BTC, and I don't really look at support resistance, so I'm not sure how you guys see it. But basically, all I'm going to look at is whether or not we're going to get consolidation to go lower, right? Something like this would be very ideal, right? Because in impulsive phase this hard, usually naturally we're going to see a little bit of correction and continue lower, perhaps swimming to a bigger head and shoulder. I just don't expect this to drop like this. I doubt that's going to happen, right? It's more likely going to be a move like this, right? Kind of like that, when a move up followed by a consolidation to move higher, usually a sign of a continuation like that, right? So same thing can be happening here if it reverse now. So is it going to form bearishly and then continue? We're going to have to wait, right? So Tron USD, sure. Yeah, so you can see it breaks the previous high, right? Price breaks the previous high, no continuation. Instead, this moves up, it's quite corrective, right? So it basically creates a larger M style pattern, double top, ascending structure, and then price is pushing down, correction here, and then now it's pushing below this low here. So this is an important area, so to speak. It's like price is going to be stalling here, but it's breaking through now, right? So this is part of quite an impulse break. Um, Breaking this low is one thing, right? You're not the confirmation here is waiting for another consolidation just like this, right? Impulse down, correction, impulse down. We break the previous low, it would be nice to see consolidation to continue. So this is something that to wait for. It would be nice to for another downside potentially. Do I always chart without indicators moving average? Yeah, I mean I've been trading this type of approach for many years, so there's nothing wrong with you using indicators or anything like that, but it's just that looking at the market this way is the more cleanest and there's not a lot of invisible barriers. If you have indicators on, this is what your chart will look like. And a lot more often, you're going to have EMA or MA line like this where you're told or you're taught not to trade through it because that's usually some sort of a support or resistance that people will look at, right? But if you just remove all these indicator lines, you realize that the market moves in phases, right? The market can only be an impulsive phase. The market can only be a corrective phase, right? So once you see it this way, it's basically just impulsive phase, correction phase, and you're basically looking for another impulsive phase because that's just how the market moves, right? Once you see it this way, you will never really see it differently because a lot of different things, a lot of different way of looking at the market. It's more relying on indicators and things like that. But when the market is impulsive, the indicators are generally not going to catch on to the impulsive phase, right? So that's why I don't really like to, or I personally don't use indicators or anything. I see this way of the analyzing the market is the most cleanest, the most makes sense, and the market obviously behave this way for me to continue to see it this way. But that never just take one person's word for it, right? Always backtest. Take years to backtest a strategy to make sense to you. Once you backtest any strategy and if it makes sense to you, then go ahead to execute it, right? It's never going to be just something you learn right away and then get proficient at it, right? Always you have to convince yourself, right? Backtest your strategy, backtest your analysis, see if they play out over and over again. Then it's good to adapt to that, right? Ethereum, we talked about Ethereum earlier, right? So my bias here is looking for a further downside, right? We have that higher time frame double top, basically all-time high here, price move up again correctively, right? This is in a larger ascending structure, and this is a lower time frame ascending structure. So understand what patterns within patterns, right? Structures within structures. This is what multi-time frame analysis is, right? Because higher time frame gives you a double top, higher time frame ascending structures, and lower time frame ascending structure as well. At the very top, you basically had a head and shoulder here, price pushed down, but then forming to this kind of expanding structure. And then I did took some sell here. I did take a 2 to 1 here, and I took a 1% loss, so just end up with 1% here. And then price basically created this structure, and then basically had a reversal at the top, push down, correct, and now it's looking like it's pushing down further. So same thing across the board. It's just whether or not we're going to get continuation or not. If we slowly see reversals, then perhaps that's where the market will not continue lower. But if we just kind of trickle around here on the lower time frame, continue to chill around here, then perhaps we're going to see further downside once the consolidation finish. Of course, we don't really know how deep the consolidation will go, right? So sometimes all it takes is just a small correction and we continue downwards. Or sometimes we're going to take a little bit longer, right? A little bit bigger size and then continue downward. So, but either or, just monitor the price. What we'll do here. I still reasonably expect price can hit this previous low at the beginning of this structure, and perhaps even as low as this. But first thing first is to break this previous low to whether or not we're going to get further downside, and then reevaluate later to see how it's going to play out. Okay, so like I said, I'm only in Ethereum. I'm only one trade of Ethereum right now. It's running about, I think, 3 to 1 or so. So 3 to 1 right now. So decent profit. I'm just going to see how the market will behave next couple of days to see whether or not I can hold on to it or just sell for profit or take profit and then move on, right? So um sell all gaming coin with 50% loss and rebuy. That's obviously up to you, right? So I'm not gonna speculate on that. When you mean gaming coin, do you mean like meta coins, like coins like these, like Mana or Sand and things like that? Is that what you're referring to? I mean, it's obviously your choice. I'm not gonna give you any financial advice in that sense, because the market dropped, right? So it's up to you how you want to manage it, right? Are we going to see sudden low recovery or are we going to see further downside? It's too hard to tell at this point, right? Sometimes people think a crash like this and it's supposed to recover, and sometimes it doesn't, right? All this is just corrective and then push down lower. Who knows, right? So it's best to make your own decision, when it comes to something like this, right? You listen to one person, they tell you to get rid of your position and buy, and the other person tell you not, then who do you really listen to, right? So you gotta make sure when you're investing or trading, you gotta have your own trading plan, right? How you want to manage your positions, how you want to manage your investments, and so when anything happens, you have to be ready for it, right? So someone asked about Bitcoin. I did go over Bitcoin a couple of times, but basically, we kind of anticipate the reversal from the higher time frame. We're over this a couple of times. Higher time frame double top or all-time high. Couldn't break the all-time high and continue. Rising wedge reversal, bearish impulse, bearish continuation, pushing down. We're close to this previous low, so it really depends on what the lower time frame is doing, right? This is just too early to tell, right? Just imagine how far this move has pushed down, right? It's pushed down very aggressively. So all this move here, it's too hard to tell whether or not this is going to be start pushing up or push down. So definitely don't recommend start buying here or even selling here. If you miss the initial sell, don't try to jump in here. This is likely where the market is going to be consolidation because there's going to be probably a lot of buyers thinking this is going to start pushing and probably sellers still holding down or maybe there's sellers looking to enter here. So I don't think this area to enter, whether you're into buy or sell, is a good choice because of how strong the bearish move has already been, right? You want to be a little bit more cautious when something like this happens because you're generally going to see more, indecisive of the market after this kind of a push, right? So just be a little bit patient. If the market is going to continue downwards, right? If the market is going to continue downwards, you're going to expect further downside after a consolidation, which is what we want to wait here, right? Maybe a consolidation just like this, right? And then price continue to push down to the next low. And this all makes sense. It all fits the price action very, very clearly. So that could be a possibility in the coming weeks or something like that. So, any question, guys? Any pairs or anything you want me to take a look at? I think I went through quite a bit of different questions, but happy to go over any other pairs that you guys are looking at. But basically, overall, it's pretty bearish across the board, right? So, definitely not looking to go long or short, to be honest, in this kind of volatility. Sorry, you basically want to see what this area is going to do, right? Kind of I repeat this a couple of times. I don't think buying here or selling here is a good choice, just because the market has already pushed quite a bit, right? So, Litecoin, yeah. So same idea, right? You look at this higher time frame. If we look at how the price has already pushed up, you can see all these buys that I pointed out from last year since December, right? Price basically just continued to push up, and there's so many of these buy opportunities that a lot of them pretty much shape up, right? You're just basically looking for further upside. But once it reach this kind of momentum where you see how like price pushes to upside and just no more continuation, right? Instead, we just start seeing reversal correction. We push down, we continue to push down. So, to me, at this time, when all these bullish run are pretty exhausted, and you have this strong bearish reversal down, all these move afterwards is just kind of corrected price action. And to me, this is just forming into another bearish continuation now. After we have a few swing high and few swing low, price hit this high, breaking above this high, but didn't continue from this consolidation. Instead, you have a bearish reversal, bearish correction, and then we continue to sell, right? So once the structure is broken, once this is basically breaking out, we're at its previous low potentially. If it consolidate here a little bit more, then you might get further downside to the next low, right? That's kind of how the market is basically telling you after a strong impulsive phase, correctional phase, and potentially there is another downside if they form another consolidation here to continue down. So that's kind of how I see Litecoin. Hey Nadeem, thank you. Appreciate that. Impact you made on trading. Oh, hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully these streams, educational videos are helping you. Good for you, right? Where do you update Telegram on TradingView? I update on every platform. So I do post analysis on TradingView. So I post analysis on TradingView. This is where I would post all my ideas. I update everything in my Telegram. So basically live trades, analysis, updates, videos, things like that. That's all in my Telegram. So you can search my Telegram here. Um, but mostly I do a lot of videos on YouTube, so you can learn everything I do here as well. I categorize the playlist here, so if you're interested, you can learn more about this kind of world approach in the market. So, um, small question regarding chart analysis. When you analyze the chart, drawing trend lines, in what time frame? Not any specific time frame. What we look at is what I call multi-time frame analysis. So you'll notice my chart is always going to be two charts. One is going to be higher time frame, which is kind of one is always going to be the higher time frame, which is always going to be daily kind of charts, and the other one is always going to be lower time frame. And lower time frame can be anything under 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes kind of thing. So I always have two different charts on the same pair or whatever market I'm looking at. And this is how I am able to switch from higher time frame to lower time frame. It's easy by just clicking tab. So you're not always going to start from a higher time frame, right? Higher time frame, you're going to identify the structure, and then lower time frame, you're going to identify the confirmation and entry. That's kind of how I do uh, drawing trend lines or using um, in different time frames. Wick or body, I just always look at the wick. Well, not sorry, not the wick, like the swing highs, right? So I don't use the trend lines as a support resistance. I don't do that. What I use the trend line for is just basically identifying the structure, right? I'm basically identifying the swing highs and lows of the price because that is going to how it shapes into a structure. So I made several videos about this if you're interested. I talk about how to analyze the market from scratch. You can watch that, or you can learn about how I use the trend lines to identify price action structures. Again, it's all in here, right, in this playlist. So there's a lot of videos about these topics you're welcome to look at. But generally, we're going to identify the structure so we know whether or not this is a reversal or a continuation, right? The structures can only be continuation like this, or it can only be reversals, right? There's only two types of price action structures. Either it's going to be continuation or it's going to be reversals, right? So once you understand that's how the market moves, then you're always going to see it the same way. Do I look at news event and other indices like S&P when the crypto entering? I actually trade all the markets, so but I don't really think the indices will affect that much. But I think everyone agreed the indices are dropping, right? I think all the indices, as that we pointed out, it's all dropping. Nasdaq, S&P 500. These are all talked about many weeks ago. It's all playing out. So I know a lot of us are in these kind of sells, and Dow Jones here as well, right? We basically pushed down exactly where to the low here already, right? So we're just going to see whether or not price is going to continue downside or not. But when you look at indices market, is because also you guys have to understand how when coronavirus happened, this is coronavirus, right? We're basically doing the same thing as coronavirus, right? Every single indices across the board, they're basically forming into identical price action structures and patterns, right? You can see that across the board, right? Every single indices market, right? You're forming into like identical price action where the COVID sell-off is, right? So this is also why if you notice, most of the indices are all in a bearish kind of sell-off, right? So Telegram channel, it's all free. All my content's free. You can either watch if you're on YouTube, it's all in my description. So just click my description. There's all my platforms below. You can find all my platforms: TradingView, YouTube, um, TradingView, YouTube, and all other social media. I'll post the links here. I don't use Fibonacci. No problem using that, of course, if you want to use that in your analysis. I just don't use it personally. I know what it is and I know what it's supposed to do. I personally don't use any indicators. You're welcome, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you and all that. ICP. Really don't see much here, right? You can see after this bearish kind of move down, price just has been in this consolidation. It really didn't do too much. You can see there's really not much development. It's like just sideways price action. This latest part basically is telling us that after this initial bullish push up, we form into consolidation, we push down, we form another correction, we push down. Now we have sideways moving like this, and then eventually leads to another downside. Now we're at the very low here. I just don't see it right away pushing up. It's just likely to consolidate a little bit more, just like exactly like this, and then we'll see whether or not we're gonna get further downside. I just don't see the upside, or I don't see the bullish move after price has moving sideways like this for a while after the initial push down, right? So Nano USD. Um, I can't really tell too much here, to be honest. I don't really see too much here. It kind of looked like we pushed down a little bit, and then this is more sideways moving. I don't really even see a structure here, to be honest. I just see more kind of sideways movement. I don't really see anything here at this moment on this one. umbrella network. Definitely not too much data here for me to give anything here. This looks like it's just continued trickles down, right? There's not too much data here for me to give anything. There's only a few months of data here, so I can't give too much. Thank you, Midas. YouTube video channel is amazing. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm just making videos to help everyone. So if you want to learn about trading uh, honestly, transparently, and not some get rich quick scheme, and actually want to learn about how market analysis and consistent traders do, this is what I offer here. I don't, sugarcoat anything or anything like that. Trading is actually one of the hardest thing you'll do, right? So, don't let the social media fools you on that. So, USD, we went over that a few times already. Um, we talked about dot a couple times, all right? We basically hit all-time high here, right? So price hits all-time high and basically had this kind of a false breakout, right? There's no continuation here, right? Instead, it's a bearish reversal. We form into this head and shoulder pattern, and basically after this right shoulder form here, more downside that's basically happened. Now we're basically at this previous low now, right? So you're gonna see whether or not we're gonna see deeper consolidation to make it into a larger head and shoulder, or we're just gonna straight on break below this previous low and then continuation to the downside further. So I don't see right away bullish push up, especially how sharp this move has been already if you look at the lower time frame. After this right shoulder, price pushed down and then forming to a smaller head and shoulder and then bearish kind of sell off here, right? So personally, I don't see right away up move. I'd probably see further consolidation to push down more. On Ripple, yeah, I don't really see too much on any other things really. Um, I don't even see. I didn't even see this as a bullish thing or anything else. I really didn't wasn't even looking at Ripple for a little bit of time. It looks like this basically forming to a top where price basically didn't break this high. This mini top here, price bait form itself, and then it forming to more of a kind of an M style pattern, so to speak, and then the bearish reversal push the downside. Now we still have quite a bit of room to this previous low, right? So don't know if we're going to consolidate here and push down more, or is it going to um, kind of start climbing back here on the lower time frame. It's really hard to tell. Yes, there is some lower time frame push up. You can see that probably across some of the market, but we don't know if this is going to be right away just start for the price to continue, right? Or we might just form into consolidation like this and then still go down afterwards. So I think just have to be careful here. This is the same across basically all the crypto. They're just basically consolidating. Right, they're climbing up, sure, but we don't know if this is going to start climbing up like this, right? Or we're just going to be more consolidation and then push down after, right? It's too early to tell, right? So it's better to be a little bit more patient here to see whether or not that's going to happen. I don't see right away price incline like this, especially when it drop like this. Usually we want to see a really sharp move and then a bigger consolidation so we can climb up like this. But I don't see the bullish consolidation at least in this area yet. So um, so head and shoulder double top are to you, but seeing you using their height as a target. What do you mean by the height? Do you mean as a as a like as a low as it like this. Let's say like you're looking at double top here and then you see this head and shoulder. Are you talking about just to sell to this low as a target? Um, Definitely a head and shoulder would be the confluence here, but depends on where you enter. Did you enter at the top here, and then you're just looking to sell to the previous low in case there's a head and shoulder, or are you talking about the bigger size one, like the one we talk about here? Um, like I think this is the one you're more referring to. Like if this is pushing down to this low, potentially we might form into a head and shoulder, and you don't want to hold through the pullback. So sell your position here, wait for another right shoulder to form, and then sell again. I think that's probably what you meant. In all that case, that all makes sense, right? Using this as a potential target, I think that's reasonable and makes sense. How often do I live stream? I live stream twice a week. I know this is not the time I usually stream. I usually always stream on New York session. I stream for a year and a half straight on TradingView and on YouTube straight. So I stream every Monday and Wednesday during New York session. So I've been doing that for a straight year and a half already. I always have the videos to watch later on to watch, right? So all these few streams I do every week. I do twice streams a week, right? I did catch the Ethereum. So last the whole crypto market dump. I did get on one entry on the lower time frame, which is Ethereum. Higher time frame was bearish. I was not able to catch lower time frame. Any advice? Well, you have to do a little bit more chart work, right? Doing a little bit more back testing, right? We understand if you understand the higher time frame movement, then you go down to the lower time frame for confirmation, right? That's kind of what we always talk about. So on the higher time frame, you already spot that there is a potential high here as the price breaks the all-time high, but there is no continuation, right? We start stalling here. So when you look at the lower time frame, it's pretty clear. We have this ascending structure moving to the top. We have this ascending structure moving to the double top, right? So already that's a bearish reversal, right? And then we have that higher time frame kind of higher time frame, larger ascending structure as well. So already you have patterns within patterns, right? Structures within structures and bearish pushdown, right? You can see there is a kind of a head and shoulder here and price push down. So when these kind of lower time frame development is not clear to you, you just have to do a little bit more back testing, right? A little bit more back testing, a little bit more chart work, right? Look back at the previous move, look to see can you identify structures easily. Seeing me join the trend lines and identify structure is one thing, but you will have to be able to identify yourself, right? You will have to understand why does the market move up correctively? Well, it's moving up correctively because it's getting ready to reverse, right? When the market move up impulsively, well, that's different because impulsive move will likely to follow by consolidation to go higher. But once you can see when these moves are happening, well, it's rather corrective. It's not impulsive like this, right? So there's a difference there. And we correctively move up to a higher time frame top, right? So there's a lot of lower time frame confluence here to look for potential reversals. I don't. The workshops are for any market, my friend. It's not just for crypto, right? I think you're mistakenly think crypto will be different. It's not. All my workshop is about technical analysis, so it doesn't matter which market you look at. All these, the way to analyze the market, all the same entries, all the way how structures evolve, how structures within structures, pattern separation. All these are the same across the market. There's no difference in them, right? Hey, trading has completely changed and profitable since I started learning from you. Hey, I'm good to take that. Very happy to hear that. Good job. Yeah, keep going, my friend. So hopefully these help and help others out there. So when do I think the market will rise again? Definitely not anytime soon. Not anytime soon when the market has this type of push down like that impulsively, right? So I don't think anytime soon, to be honest. It really depends on how the next ish time is going to develop, right? Just like I said, this type of bearish sell-off usually is going to follow by consolidation. It doesn't reverse up right away and it doesn't go down right away. It's going to be consolidation, in my opinion. And we're just going to have to see whether or not we're going to get that consolidation or not, right? We might even see reversals, right? So maybe this is a reversal upward, right? So we're gonna see how this move is going to be. If it's going to lead into any bullish reversal, well, then I'll learn to get out of the position, right? But if it's just going to correctively chill around in this area, then I'm just going to wait and see what will happen, right? So I'm fine just kind of holding on to position. We'll see how it goes. But once it gets to a certain point where it kind of reverts back into the structure here, then perhaps that's going to be a sign. But I'd rather or expectingly to see a correction before that happens. So, so any other crypto stuff, guys? Any other crypto questions or anything in crypto we can take a look at? Today, I just want to focus on crypto, guys. In my normal weekly outlook and market update live stream, I go over every other pairs, every other market. But today is on crypto, right? Just because what the crypto has suffered in this last day or so, pretty much. So, any other question, really? I just want to see what else we have here. I'm actually going to wrap up the stream very soon already. It'll be live almost an hour. I usually do the stream during the New York session, right, guys? So today was just spontaneous. I was just Friday night for me. Got home. I was looking at the market, and saw some messages telling me the market has crashed or something. And that's when I open up TradingView and I take a look really quickly. But that's just something that happens, right? So. All right, guys. So no other question here on crypto, right? I'm gonna wrap it up soon if I don't see much else. Mana. These are metaverse coins, right? You can see originally it was looking pretty bullish, right? We push up, we correct. It was actually in pretty full-on bullish trend, right? You can see. And once it fall into this consolidation, I really thought that this could be another move up if it breaks up and then continue. But that really didn't happen. Instead, it's just a sharp kind of move down from the price, right? We didn't really see anything else like this sharp push down. Are we going to see consolidation here to continue downwards, or this is a full-on reversal? Again, across the board, it's too early to tell, right? The bearish momentum is quite strong, so I just don't see right away this can be a bullish reversal. I actually see it more likely we're gonna consolidate and push down further, right? So that's kind of how I see it. So I don't really see bullish here, because how far it kind of break out of the structure and then pushing down, right? So, um, BTCD. I don't really see too much here. I just see more looking like it's more downside, right? I don't really ever look at this chart, to be honest. So if I look at it straight from a technical perspective, then this is a bearish push down for the price. And as long as we're in this consolidation, as long as the price doesn't break this high and continue, then I expect further downside as long as it's correcting here. And I do see if it does push to the upside, if it doesn't break above, instead we have that bearish reversal, then I can reasonably see further continuation downside. Um, I mean, like I said, I don't want to look at other ones, but I don't really see too much on gold anyways, right? You have to look at when coronavirus happened during 2020 February 2020, price initially pushed down and then sharp recovery. So it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on here. I can't really see too much structure or anything like that. This can either be a head and shoulder to continue downside, or this can be a descending structure potentially to push the price up. Again, I'm not too interested in gold. I'd rather to see the price move down one more time to the low here and then to see whether or not there's going to be bullish reversals. At this point here, I'm not looking to sell. I don't like that while we're in this consolidation, and kind of the overall move could still be bullish. Whether or not we completed this structure, I think that's where I want to see what price will do when it hits this low here. Okay. Looking to total cap, yeah, we've been looking at into total cap. All right, we've been looking at total cap for a while. I'm just expecting further downside if we can, like I said, hit this low and then whether or not we consolidate here to push down further, right? So, XLM, sure. So same thing, right? This is kind of like Litecoin when we talk about when Litecoin was kind of moving up and then eventually reversed down and forming to a bearish correction, potentially go lower. I think Stella here, it's basically the same. You can see originally we have the buy here, correction, buy, and I thought this could be a larger structure, potentially to start climbing up, but it ends up just becoming a sharp bearish move down, and then we just have a consolidation like this, and then it's breaking down now, right? So this just becomes a larger kind of bearish continuation downside. So same thing, we're breaking out the structure already, and we're at this previous low. Whether or not we're going to form consolidation to push down lower, it's anybody's tell, right? So wait for this area to develop, at least wait for price to at least move a little bit to see whether we can get continuation or more or to the downside more. I likely want to see um, I likely want to see that happen to continue to the low side. Again, it's really depending on what the lower time frame will do in this area here, right? So sharp move to the downside. Price again, it's climbing up, but again, I talk about most of the crypto are in this situation. We don't know if they're going to continue to the downside or just eventually start climbing up. But I more likely expect this to be consolidation across the market just going to be just continue like this and then potentially another move down like so. We did go over Ethereum because I'm live on only Ethereum. I'm not live in anything else, but I am in Ethereum. We went over this a couple of times, right? Double top on the higher time frame, higher time frame descending structure, lower time frame descending structure, head and shoulder here, bearish push down, expanding correction here as a continuation. And I look for lower time frame reversal, push down, correction here, ascending structure within this bearish correction. Set the entry order, stop loss above the high. Price just kind of pushed down and then tagged me in. And I didn't really expect this to happen at all, but it just kind of continued to push down pretty impulsively and very strongly as well. Again, just looking to see whether or not we can actually hit this low. This is kind of my initial target. It looks like it's pushing down now, so maybe another consolidation can push it eventually down to this previous low. So again, I'm just live in one Ethereum position right now. We'll see how long this one can continue to go. So that's about it. Any other thing going on, guys? Any other pairs? I think we went over most of these coins already. I don't really see anything else at all. Most of the coins are in some sort of this type of price action, right? Let me see what else. That, right? Yeah, same idea, right? This type of structure across Stella, Litecoin, I think Mint as well. They're all in this type of kind of price action, right? Bearish push down, consolidation, and then this last few days just kind of play out in that case. Yeah, we're only looking at crypto today, guys. Not like the usual stream I do. We're looking at crypto only today, guys. And plus the forex market is closed, right? So let's just look at crypto today. Well, on Monday we're gonna go over every market again, right? At my usual weekly outlook on Monday New York session. So we'll leave the forex pair alone today. We all know all the bearish move in the market today as well. I'm likely to see all those pairs continue. So. Um, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I've been talking for about an hour already. I just want to actually get online to chat a little bit about the market. Not I went over most of them already, so we'll see how next few hours or a day or so whether or not we're going to see more downside. If that's the case, that would be nice to see, right? We want to see further downside if it's possible, and potentially more downside can happen, right? So I don't recommend buying or selling during this period of time, especially when the bearish market has pretty much kind of taken to its effect. Right now, of course, there is chance that people are going to start buying because they think it, buy the low kind of thing, buy the dip. But you have to understand how the market moves also, right? This kind of sharp move to the downside, I think it's more consolidation before further downside to the market, unless we just flat out see some sort of bullish reversal. But when I see this type of impulse across the board, you don't really see that. Look at this and you see a previous price. Nothing else has moved that significantly except probably this area. You can see it push down, it correct here, and then it continue pushing down. So be careful because this is pretty much identical price action. Now look at this part here and this part here. They're pretty similar, right? Ascending structure, impulsive phase, correction, and then impulse down. Looking at what's going on here, correction here, impulsive phase, correction here, and impulse down. So this can easily be the next move down, right? So, but you can see within this move, there's a lot of consolidate. There's a lot of smaller lower time frame phases, right, for the market to push down like that. So be careful because it doesn't go in a straight line, right? We always talk about this. You can see after a sharp move like this, which is basically what's happening right now, it forming to a deeper correction here, but then they continue push down, another correction here, and then it push down, and then another correction, right? These are all on the lower time frame. So it doesn't drop in a straight line, right? It's always going to impulse correct, impulse correct, impulse correct, like so, right? This way to go down the price. So you're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm gonna wrap it up now, guys. So very happy to see some new faces, new familiar faces as well. Um, I think I answered most of the questions already, so we already went over all the pairs as well. It's pretty late for me already, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you're all new to me looking at this, you're welcome to subscribe TradingView for all my ideas, analysis. I do these streams twice a week. Today is an exception. I usually do them during the New York session on Monday and Wednesday. So I always do the streams, live stream during that time, going over all the markets and all my YouTube videos to learn about price action analysis, right? Workshop videos, price action risk management, psychology, anything about price action structures and patterns, they're all here. You're welcome to learn. And in my Telegram channel where I share all the analysis, ideas, educational videos, and things like that. I don't do signals, so don't expect me to do signals from anything. That's not what I do here. I want to help traders to be more consistent on their own, become a better consistent trader. And last thing I want to update is beware of scammers because a lot of you guys are new looking at me. So make sure you don't fall into scammers because there's scammers impersonating me out there. They use my Telegram photo to message you. So remember, I would never approach you first to sell you anything. I would never approach you to offer any type of money or audit of management or anything like that. So be careful. Always follow my official channels and accounts or only answers to them only. Okay, so don't fall for scams. All right. So that is it for me, everyone. So thank you very much for today. Very appreciate that, and then I'll see you guys